Hey guys, welcome to my channel. Today I actually have a speed build for you guys. Today's speed build is in Willow Creek and it's actually in the lot where Magnolia Blossom Park is actually at. And it's still technically Magnolia Blossom Park, but I've done a little bit of renovating to it. I've actually completely bulldozed it and just started completely fresh. Magnolia Blossom, I never have my Sims come here. There isn't really much for them to do, but that kind of makes sense because it is a park that came with base game. So I don't know, it's like a weird park because it's like really pretty, but there's not really a lot of function to it. There's not a lot for your Sims to do here. A lot of the time when I'm thinking about what I want to build, I'm thinking about like what do I need for my Sims or what do I want my Sims to have. I've talked about this on the channel I think before, where I really don't have my Sims leave their house too much, and sometimes that can make the game a little bit boring. Like when it comes to going to community lots or having my Sims go anywhere, it really has to be worth it to me. Because I don't know, I feel like sitting through a bunch of different loading screens, it can be a little bit tedious, and I don't know, like by the time the loading screen is done and over with, I kind of don't want to play the game anymore because as we all know, like our human attention spans are lessening like every day. And yeah, by the time the new lot loads in, I kind of don't want to play the game anymore, or I get bored, or I get distracted, or I go and do something else. So for me, when it comes to building community lots or any other type of lot, it really has to be worth it. Like I really have to get I can't even say like money worth because I'm not spending anything, but it's like it has to be worth it to me. And in my personal gameplay, I do have two Sims that are about to get married. I actually made a Sim and she's actually engaged to get married to Travis Scott, and they're a really cute couple and they just had like their first baby. My Sim, she actually doesn't have a job, and she's actually striving towards, one day owning her own bakery or restaurant or something like that. But currently the only way she makes money is by using the new selling table that came with the Home Chef Hustle pack, I think it's called. And so as of right now, she's not really doing what she needs to be doing because she just had a baby, so she hasn't really been able to work towards her own personal goals. And Travis Scott, he was in the programmer career, but I got him to quit, and he's now a freelancer programmer. And that technically means that he doesn't have a stable income. Like, if you get your programming skill pretty high, there is a potential to get like really big gig payouts, but because it depends on when he has time to work on the projects that he volunteers to do as a programmer, that kind of like plays a part in his ability to earn income. So my Sims that I'm playing with in my own personal time, they don't really have a lot of simoleons, so I really wanted a place for them to get married that didn't like require them to spend a lot of money. So I feel like the way that a lot of people play The Sims, or from what I've seen, like they get them to go to like these really fancy places like Tartosa, for example, because that is the world that we got with the wedding expansion pack. No, it was a game pack. But I try to like play kind of like realistically in my Sims that I'm playing with in my own personal time. Like they don't have like a big budget to spend on a wedding, so I felt like I wanted to make this park like the perfect place for like that type of thing. Like for Sims that don't have a whole lot of money, but they do want to have like a decent wedding. At the time that I started this build, the Romantic Garden Stuff Pack had just been released for free, and it was a pack that I had been on the fence about buying for the longest. Like I was literally about to buy it because I had a little bit of extra money, and I was like looking at packs that I hadn't brought yet, and I was like honestly considering buying it. And I don't know if it's still free, but if it is and you haven't gotten it yet, I would recommend that you get it because it has some really pretty landscaping, and I was inspired to use some of it for this lot because I don't know, I kind of see Willow Creek as a more suburban area, so it's not like super taken over by like the city, and you do have a lot more trees and I guess garden space and like greenery and everything. in like Willow Creek, so I really didn't want to like not have any of that in this park. Like I really wanted to have this park have a lot of trees, a lot of plants, a lot of, I guess you could say, vegetation, because I think there's like two different types of parks. There's like parks where they're like more urban, I guess you could say, where it's a lot of concrete and a lot of, I guess, play equipment and stuff, like jungle gyms and stuff like that. And there is that here. But then there's also parks where it's more like, I don't know, like you might have like a hiking trail, but it's definitely like surrounded by nature, and like it's an opportunity for you to be submersed in nature. And I kind of wanted to have that element to it. Like I don't like in my current save file while they're playing in Willow Creek, like there's sometimes when I'm playing in Willow Creek and I'm kind of seeing it as like, more of like the city influences are kind of taking over. But how I'm currently playing in Willow Creek, where it's more so like, we're trying to upgrade, because I think like the actual description of Willow Creek, they talk about how it's like an old town, like an old plantation town or something like that. And so it kind of reminds me of my own town, because I currently live in Virginia, so we have like a lot of that similar theme. But in my small town, like recently we've had like more like I think they're trying to like modernize a little bit, but like we have like it's a lot of older people too in my town, where it could be like a good and a bad thing, but a lot of them are trying to like keep the old feeling of the town. Like they don't really want to modernize fully. So I don't know if I'm like explaining it that well, but that's kind of like the theme of how I'm trying to currently play in Willow Creek, where yes, like the town is trying to bring in more people, bring in more residents, maybe even bring in a little bit more tourism, and just trying to make it like a more attractive place for outsiders to come into. But you're still gonna get like that old town feeling. Like it's not gonna feel like the urban vibe is trying to like take over. Like it's a very homey, like comforting place. Like it's a place where you can kind of like not get away from people, because it's like a town where it's a very close-knit community. But I don't know, it's just a different feeling to this town. So my park, I did want to include like old pieces of the old Magnolia Blossom Park, and I believe, I could be completely wrong, but I think there was a gazebo or some type of gazebo thing in the original Magnolia Blossom Park, which I bulldozed. I can't really remember, but I really did want to have the gazebo, because I thought it'd be really cute for my Sims to have like a very, like, I feel like I need to emphasize that like you're not gonna be able to have like a super huge wedding here on this lot, because it is technically a park, and I did want to have this place be like for the actual community, for community members to come here. So the gazebo, like you can have like a really small wedding. I actually haven't, attempted to have their wedding yet. I don't know if I'm going to, like, I do plan on playing The Sims today, but I don't, like, if I do end up playing The Sims today and my Sims get to the point where they're getting married, like, I will include screenshots of that, because I think it'll be really cute. But I haven't officially like play tested it yet, so I don't know if things are going to work out the way that I want them to. I haven't even like tested a wedding out since like the last time, and it was like a horrible disaster. Nothing went right for them. So I'm hoping that like element of the gameplay is better now, but that's okay, because I'm not planning on having a super huge wedding for them anyway. So if it doesn't work the way that I want it to work, then I'm okay with that. And originally I thought about having like a outside area for them to eat, but then I thought about like including like a little, I guess you could say like a banquet hall kind of thing, where I kind of feel like this part of the park, it didn't come with the original park, but I was thinking of like again of my own town, and like a lot of buildings are like older, and they have like torn down some buildings, and it has made some people in the community upset. And so in order to kind of like deal with that, they have kind of like restored older buildings and turned them into something else. And so this little L-shaped building that I have here, that I kind of turned into a banquet hall, I was kind of thinking about, this probably was part of Willow Creek for some time, well, yeah, it was part of the town for some time, and they converted it into something else. Like maybe it was like some type of historical building or something like that, but they turned it and like renovated it into like a fancier type of banquet hall. And originally, like as you'll see, like as we go through this park, like I feel like it turned out a little bit fancier than I kind of wanted it to. I kind of was like I didn't want to have like a super fancy building for my Sims to get married in. Like I really wanted it to feel like it's kind of like a smaller type of wedding. But I feel like because it is like a public place, I feel like that's kind of like what makes the this like lot of a more affordable option for my Sims to get married, because I can kind of see like Sims just wanting to come to the park and they just burst in there anyway, and they're not even invited to the wedding and they come and grab a plate anyway. And I also feel like this space can be used like if you want, like if like for example if it's raining, like they can still get married in the gazebo. But I feel like the inside space, it would still be pretty easy for you to kind of like convert it into an indoor wedding space if you wanted to. And this little L-shaped building thing that I did, I also included a circle room at the top to kind of like make a tower for your Sims to go into, and like they can like pretend that they're getting ready like for the wedding, like getting dressed and all that kind of thing. And it was like my first time working with a circle room, and I can say that I never ever want to work with it again because it was kind of buggy and glitchy. I don't know if it was the circle room particularly, but like at one point when I was working on the build, like I was having some weird things going on with the ceiling. Like I tried to use the copy tool thing to like copy one of the lights that I had used, and somehow it like copied the ceiling, which I didn't want it to do, because honestly since that update has come out, I've honestly personally I don't really use, like I don't actually like spend unnecessary simoleons on trying to make the ceiling look good, because I don't really look at the ceiling too much. Like of course when I'm taking like screenshots and stuff, sometimes the ceiling kind of like throws everything off, but I personally don't care, and like I try to take my screenshots in a way where you can't see the ceiling anyway. But it was kind of like annoying to me because I think like in order to do it, I kind of like in order to like I don't know, like it was like just glitchy and buggy, and like I couldn't get out of the ceiling tool for some reason. So I had to like either go to the options menu, or like I had to go back into live mode or something in order to make it so the ceiling would go away and I could finish doing what I was trying to do. And also like I noticed that like the floor kind of clips through the circle part a little bit, and that was kind of annoying, and I decided to just like leave it alone. And it personally, it's not going to bother me because I can kind of like just play my game and kind of ignore it, and I hope that you can do so too, and hopefully it's not too much of a burden for you guys either. I feel like the landscaping really helped pull this park together, because this is a park that I wanted to look like it did have like a lot of nature. I did use a lot of trees, and I actually used a lot of I think they're called cherry blossom trees, because it ties into the name of the park, which is Magnolia Blossom. And there's also a lot of the cherry blossom trees. I think that's the wrong name, but there's a lot of these trees surrounding the park anyway, so I also wanted to include some in the park. And then of course I included a lot of flowers because I was influenced by the romantic garden pack. And at certain points of the build, I kind of felt like there was something lacking, or it was just like a lot of unnecessary space, or I don't know, it just felt kind of empty to me. So I feel like the landscaping helped out a lot, and landscaping is something that I personally don't feel is my strong suit. I don't think I struggle with landscaping, but it's not something that I'm super thrilled about doing. It's kind of like a something that I do to kind of like add on to a build and kind of make it look a little bit nicer. But something like this where it's a park, I feel like landscaping, it kind of plays a bigger role than just like to make the buildings look more aesthetic, because there isn't a lot of builds in this park. It's mostly like decoration. And I also did include a huge like kind of river lake thing. I don't know what you would necessarily call it, but it's not really functional. It was mostly for like the look of the park. Like I wanted it to include some type of river or like some type of creek, I guess you could say. And I wanted to have like the bridge that crosses over because I kind of used this little creek thing as a separation. So you do get some type of like separation between the actual park and then the part where people go to have their wedding. So hopefully like it's not like interrupted or you don't have like random kids like interrupting. And I did like include the little monkey bars like next to the gazebo, and yeah, like kids probably will use that, but I just thought it would be really cute to have that there because I think I used the monkey bars that came with the romantic garden stuff pack. And I just thought it would be really cute to like, especially if you have like a family kind of get together type of wedding where you maybe have some children already and you make them like the flower pal or the ring bearer or whatever, and they're like kind of dressed up in their formal wear and they're like playing with the monkey bars or playing on the monkey bars while they're waiting for the wedding to start. And I thought that would be really cute to have that there, and it just like looked like, you know, added decor to the whole wedding situation. I also like the bridge because I feel like it's kind of like romantic in a way too. Like I could definitely see like Sims coming here and like proposing at like either at the bridge or on the bridge. I don't know if that's actually possible in The Sims, but I don't see why you wouldn't be able to do that. And I don't know, I feel like it's like a nice place. Like I feel like because like the cherry blossom trees, it kind of makes like the park look kind of have like this romantic type of theme. Like I could literally have my Sims come here just to come here and maybe just play with the chess table and just walk around. Like with the creek that I have, it's not really functional. Like you can't fish with it. Like the original Magnolia Blossom Park, it did have like a little pond where you could go fishing, and I kind of saw that as like pointless because there's like 100 different places for your Sims to go fishing at in Willow Creek, so I didn't really feel the need to have that here in my park. There's also like another area, I wouldn't really call it a gazebo, but it's like another little area where your Sims can come. And of course, we have like the grills because that is a requirement for the park, but I can definitely see Sims coming there to like have other celebrations. Like, I don't know if it's like common in other areas, but the couple parks that is in my area, you can like rent out like there's a gazebo in the park that's closest to me, and you can like either just go there and have like a birthday event, or you can like contact like the town. I don't know how that works, but you can contact the town and like schedule some type of birthday event. So the gazebo is specifically for the wedding, but I did want to include like another little area for your Sims to come to if they want to have like a barbecue. Like I could definitely see like this place being used as like I think they do have like family reunions now that came with the Growing Together expansion pack. So you could do that. You could have birthday celebrations, and then they're right next to it. They have the little kid. I can't think of what it's called, but it's like the little pirate ship one where they can like play on it. I think it's called the Jungle Gym. And then I also included a couple toddler slides, and I do try to be mindful of like the younger Sims and try to make the lots inclusive to the whole entire family. And I wouldn't say that this lot is super family friendly. Like of course it's a park, so it is family friendly, but I did include the toddler side, so technically you can bring your toddlers here. I wouldn't say that it's infant friendly because there isn't really a lot of amenities for infants. There also isn't like an infant potty or anything like that. So, but I think those things that you can put them in your own personal inventory. So if you do want to bring your whole family, just be mindful of that and just make sure that you bring a potty with you. And I feel like that's pretty realistic because a lot of places you go in real life, there isn't a whole lot of things for toddlers. Like you might go into like a random store and they don't have like toddler potties included in the store. Like it's something that you bring or leave in your car or something like that. The only thing that I do wish that I had more of is like bathrooms. Like I have zero interest in making bathrooms, but there is a bathroom in like the little banquet area where your Sims go to have like their wedding reception, and it's just like two small bathrooms. And I know like those two small bathrooms, they'll probably get overcrowded, and it might be a little bit frustrating if your Sims are just coming here to play in the park and you want them to use the bathroom. Like they might try to walk all the way over to those bathrooms. But I do believe that there are like within the Willow Creek community, they do have like the bathroom stalls like spread out within Willow Creek, and I actually believe there is a set of bathroom stalls right in front of Magnolia Blossom Park, so they can also use that bathroom. So there isn't a bathroom like in the park like that I built. Well, there is one, but it's all the way at the very end in like the banquet hall area where it like those bathrooms are mostly specifically for like the wedding party, I guess you could say. But there's also like stalls that come like you kind of have to go through build bot not build bot but debug mode to get like that specific stall, but they have them spread out throughout Willow Creek, so if your sims need to use the bathroom they can. Also, again, I didn't really feel the need to include a pond for them to go fishing because there's a bunch of different fishing spots for your sims to go to that is spread out throughout Willow Creek. I never really know what I want to build except for like when I'm playing the game, and then that's when I get an idea for what my sims need, and I hope it's something that you might realize that you need it but you might not have thought of it. This build is already up on the gallery if you want to download it for yourself. The gallery picture, like I really wish that we could take like our own screenshots and upload the images to the gallery, because the like default images that get put up on the gallery, like it doesn't do the build like that much justice. Like if you look at it from the gallery, it honestly doesn't look that much because you can't really see everything that's included in this build. But my gallery ID will be down below in the description if you are interested in downloading this build and playing with it for yourself. I would also appreciate like if you have suggestions for what you want to see me build next. You can leave those down below in the comments. I get a lot of my ideas for future builds in the shower a lot of the times, and sometimes when I do these kind of builds I get really inspired to do like something like I have like a certain intention in mind when I do these builds, and I kind of have to stick to that theme, but then like I get like another idea, like I was mentioning earlier about like how some parks are like more like urban or more like they have like more concrete, or like they're more like, I don't know how to describe it, but like I'm kind of feeling inspired to do another park that has more of that theme to it, where it's more like urban, and but it wouldn't be like a wedding venue. I really wanted to have like a wedding venue without it being a wedding venue, but I really do also want to do another wedding venue where it's more fancy. Like I could definitely see myself doing like a beach wedding type of thing. Like I haven't really made a whole bunch of wedding venues. Like I know like a lot of people, when new packs come out, like they immediately do like a whole bunch of the new type of builds. Like when the wedding pack first came out, like a lot of people did a lot of wedding venue type builds, and I didn't really do that. Also just now recently, like the what's it called, the Sims 4 for Rent expansion pack just came out, and a lot of people were doing like apartment and duplex builds, and I personally haven't gotten around to doing that yet. I do think I'm going to do that, even though I currently at this point in time I haven't even bought that pack yet, and I actually don't plan on buying it anytime soon. But I do want to do like some type of apartment builds. Like I have so many ideas for what I want to build. Like I have like if you've seen my Pinterest board, like I have so many different like houses on my Pinterest that I want to like potentially build one day. I think like for me personally, like I do like a lot of community builds versus like homes and stuff like that, because I kind of like do home builds like when I'm having my Sims move somewhere and I need a new house to build, but I don't really do house builds just to do them. But I do plan on doing that soon in the future on this channel. But I do a lot of like community builds because I feel like that's kind of like what's kind of lacking in The Sims 4 is like really good community lots. So I think that's why I have a tendency to do more community lots, because I feel like when you have your Sims just stay home and not really do anything, it can kind of make the game a little bit boring. So like having your Sims be able to come out and do something, even if they're not getting married, like I feel like this is like a really nice place for your Sims to just come out for like a few hours and have their children like play on the jungle gym, have your toddler slide down the slide in like an actual park environment, instead of just doing these things at home and like enjoying like a day out and like having a nice barbecue or something like that, or just have your Sims like walk from one end to the other. It's just something that they can do instead of just like staying home and doing pretty much nothing and getting bored. And this is a kind of random thought, but I'm just thinking about it while I'm placing all these flowers down, where I kind of wish we had like an element of The Sims 2 where there was like a part of the gameplay where you would actually have to water all of these flowers, and then you would also have to like pull weeds and also like trim like the bushes and stuff. I wish that was like an element that we had in The Sims 4. I know it kind of might seem a little bit tedious for some players, but I feel like that's like a part of gameplay that I like. I like the mundane tasks. Like I like doing things like laundry and like pulling weeds out of the garden, even though you don't have like an actual garden, but you do want to have like flowers, and you know, I feel like it would be really nice for your Sims to actually have to maintain them instead of they just like don't die or anything like that. Like they just stay perfect all year round, except for like when it's winter and they do eventually die, but then they come back, but there's like no effort to keeping them alive. I also wish there was like some type of element for like the indoor plants as well, where you would have to like water them. I feel like that would be really cool, and I know that's random, but that's just something that popped into my head just now. I almost forgot to mention this, but you probably already saw it. There is like another area on the outside where your Sims can come to like, I guess, dance and like go to the bar, and there's also some like chairs so if your Sims don't want to dance. And you know, there's always like the people in the group that don't want to dance and they just sit on the side, and I am one of those people. Like you would never ever catch me on the dance floor in like a group setting, because I'm just too like, I don't know, like socially anxious to do something like that. But there is like an area for that, and I feel like the lot did kind of end up being a little bit fancier than I originally intended. But I don't know, I don't feel like it's gonna be like a super expensive place for your Sims to get married. But I feel like with old towns like Willow Creek, they do have like these like antiques that could be kind of pricey, but they've just been a part of the town for so long that it's just, I don't know how to describe it, but it's, I don't want it to seem like it's a very fancy place. And I feel like another way that I would play with this, and I'm not really sure how I would pull it off, but I could also see like this part of the park being like almost like a place for your Sims to, for your teen Sims to come and have like their prom or like their after prom. I'm not really sure how you actually go about playing with that part, like how you would actually like pull that off. Like of course it would require you to like kind of like redecorate things and like move things around for your Sims to actually pull it off. Like I guess you could like just have your teen Sim like invite some of their friends, and I don't know, like have them somehow change their outfits or something so that they're in their formal wear. But I feel like that's another way you could kind of use this lot. Like I said, mentioned before, like at the time of me recording this voiceover, I currently have not play tested this lot, but I do think I will get to that today. And if I do, then I will include like screenshots of my Sims like playing with this lot. But I'm also interested, if you are interested in downloading this lot and playing with it, and I'd be very interested in hearing about your Sims lives and seeing how they use this lot for themselves, and if you enjoyed this lot. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this speed build because we are approaching the end of it. I will include like other screenshots as well, because I know like when it's sped up it can be kind of hard to see what's going on, and I did like cut out a lot of, not a lot, but like I kind of cut out some things of this video, because especially like the part where I was like putting all the rocks down around the little creek or river thing, because I felt like maybe that's not something that you guys would want to see. Like I felt like when I was doing it, like you probably noticed that like I would have it like halfway done because I would just get like bored and I didn't really feel like finishing it, so I would like go off and do something else and then come back and put more rocks down and then go do something else and then come back and put more rocks down. And another thing that I was kind of worried about is like I did use like a lot of terrain paint, and I was just like crossing my fingers while I was doing it that, you know, hopefully the game didn't delete my terrain paint for some reason, because I know that that happens to some people. I can't think of a time where it's happened to me. It could have very well possibly happened to me, but I probably just didn't notice it. But I did use the terrain paint to create some type of like trails or like pathways, and I feel like I would have noticed if the game had like deleted did that, and it probably would have like made me upset. But the only thing that made me upset was like the ceiling thing. Like, I'm not really sure what was going on with that. I did cut that part out of the video, so you didn't really see it here. But yeah, I don't know what was going on with that, and it was kind of like annoying a little bit. But at the end of the day, I feel like I created something that I really enjoy, and I think I will use this lot a lot more than the original Magnolia Blossom Park that comes with this lot. And again, like, if you have any suggestions for what you want me to build, please let me know in the comments. But until I get some comments, like, until I start receiving like input for what you guys want, I'm just going to continue in like guessing like what you guys might want based on what I want for my Sims, and hopefully you enjoy that. But yeah, I also plan on uploading more Let's Plays in the future as well, so if that's something that you're interested in, don't forget to subscribe and also like this video if you do like this lot. I appreciate your feedback a lot. But I'm going to go ahead and end this off up here. I'm not really sure how much footage is left of the actual speed build, but yeah, just stick around to the end so that you can see the screenshots. At this current point in time, I'm still sticking to my weekly upload schedule. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and end this off here, and I will see you guys next week.